It looks like another beautiful day. It's 10 o'clock in the morning right now, and I see the Canadian geese are starting to gather. They're going to be flying south to Florida pretty soon. Good morning and welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to talk about investing, especially in dividend producing stocks, ETFs, and the like. So stick around. We will chat a little bit about what I'm doing and see if you agree or disagree. Okay, so I got to thinking about the future and income in retirement. Now, retirement is still a few years away. As many of my longtime viewers know, I am working in warehousing and I enjoy the work. It is physical, but it pays reasonably well, and raises do come steady. So I will continue to work, and I may even collect some benefits from the government and continue to work. But I wanted to just talk about some things that I've been doing that I had on hold because I wasn't working. But now that I am back to investing, and let's talk about that. Now, several years ago, there was an app or a fintech company called Wealthsimple, and it came out, and you were able to buy stocks and ETFs and different things with zero trade fees. I had accounts with TD Bank and RBC Bank, but they would charge $9.99 to do a trade, whether it was to sell or to buy. So if you didn't have much money and you were only going to trade maybe $100 or $50, it didn't make sense because every transaction would cost $9.99 to execute that trade on top of whatever you were buying. So it became difficult to put money away because you were getting your funds eaten up by commissions. And I was doing the work. The investor was doing the work, but the banks were collecting money. There's also a company called Quest Trade, and they were doing the same, but they were charging, I think it was $5 or $6 per trade, but that still eats up your investment. So when Wealthsimple came out for us Canadians, it was a great relief, and you were able to take money that maybe you were going to use to buy a hamburger or some fast food or go out to supper, and you were able to take that money and say, you know what, I'm not going to spend $30 on supper. I'm going to put that $30 into an investment. There was no commission, so that money would go to work for you right away. And there were a lot of YouTube channels a few years ago dedicated to that, showing that putting in $10 here, putting in $5 there quickly added up. And some folks built pretty good, sizable portfolios by doing that. And then putting the money in and then buying individual stocks or ETFs, exchange traded funds. And quite often they would do it in what in Canada is called a tax-free savings account. Now, so many people misuse their tax-free savings account because they just put money in and park it. That is kind of a bad name, a tax-free savings account, because number one, it's not designed just for saving, it's designed for investing. And what they mean by tax-free is any money that is put in and invested in that account, it's a registered account with the government, any profits that you get or capital gains is or interest earned is tax free. So when you take that money out, if you want to do it and then save for a house, that money is tax free. So I had between 16 and 20 different holdings in my tax-free savings account with Wealth Simple. And a few years ago, I sold off some of that because I was off for a little while and I needed some extra cash. So I sold off some stock, but then I purchased it again. But I always kept at least 2 or 3 shares of each investment that I had. Problem is, as I looked at the stocks, some of these stocks or REITs, real estate investment trusts, only pay 2 cents or 3 cents or 5 cents per share. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that you would need a lot of shares to make any kind of monthly income. So the last couple of days I've been doing some research, and today I sold off, I believe, 6 of those holdings, and I took the money and reinvested in some other ETFs. So, for example, we have a few. I'll just give you a couple examples here. Another thing now is yield. Now, yield is the income an investor receives from owning a share, and that's usually income from dividends. So in my situation, all holdings I have pay dividends, because my goal is to generate some dividends each month that I can use to supplement my income, whether that's from government pensions or employment income or whatever, or YouTube income. So I took some of these low-paying holdings. They were only paying $1 or $2 a month in dividends because I didn't have that many shares. I sold those all off, and I took that money and I reinvested it in other holdings. So I'm just going to give you a few that I have gotten involved with, and they look attractive. Don't forget, though, that number one, this is not investment advice of any kind. I'm just a regular Canadian guy trying to get ahead. I am not any kind of a financial person that would recommend you do these things. This is just what I'm doing. So that's my disclaimer. Now, I do like REITs, REIT, real estate investment trusts, because my wife and I, we were landlords at one time. We did buy a property. We took some equity out of a home that we had and put a down payment on a nice condo, and had that, and that was rented out for 2 or 3 years. But we found that it wasn't something that we enjoyed, and we got rid of that property. But I do like real estate, particularly REITs. So one we just purchased here is called Allied Properties Real Estate Investment Trust. The ticker symbol is AP.UN. Now, it is a company that holds a lot of high-end apartments and such in places like Calgary, Toronto, Vancouver, and other jurisdictions. Now, the yield on that is 8.85%, which is quite attractive. But like I say, be careful about chasing yield. They say safe yields are between 3 and 6%, but you would need a lot of money to make a significant amount of income per month. So I am willing to be a little bit more aggressive, but it's only medium risk. and it pays out dividends, and it's I believe this one is 15 cents per share that you get paid. So obviously, if you had 100 shares, you make some good money. $15 a month is from there. Another one here is called Automotive Properties REIT, and ticker symbol is APR.UN. These are, I'm in Canada, and I invest in Canadian stocks, REITs, and ETFs because through the Wealth Simple platform, if I was to invest in US stocks like Coca-Cola, McDonald's, and so forth, because of the exchange rate, I would be charged fees on that. So right now, I am just sticking to Canadian, but I do also have a Questrade account, so I may look at investing in some of the bigger blue chip companies in the US through Questrade. But that will be another video. Automotive Properties is quite interesting because they invest in automotive dealerships. So here, even in Sherwood Park, I have now part ownership in Sherwood Volkswagen, in Lexus, in Toyota, different dealerships throughout Canada and the United States. So even though it is a Canadian REIT, I have exposure to the U.S. market in automobile dealerships. So you can check these out. The fact sheets are quite interesting. One that I just purchased today, and I came across it by watching YouTube videos and whatnot, and then I did my own research. The ticker symbol is BANK, BANK, and it is Evolve Canadian Banks and Insurance Index Fund. Now, it invests strictly in Canadian banks and Canadian insurance companies. So rather than me going out and spending $172 per share to buy Royal Bank of Canada or CIBC or Toronto Dominion Bank or any of these banks, I can invest in a fund that holds a basket of all of these banks and insurance companies like Sun Life Insurance or whatever. Now, the yield on this one is the highest that I have, but I'm willing to chance it because it has a good history. But it is 15.11% yield. So we will see. I think it pays, was it 11 cents? I think it was 11 cents or 15 cents per share. So we'll see. Start making $3 or $4 a month from there and build it up. My goal is to eventually get at least $10 to $15 per month from each of these holdings, and then we'll see how that goes. One that I really like is called Canoe EIT Income Fund. I've had that one for 5 or 6 years, and it pays 6.76%. The ticker symbol is EIT.UN. It's a company out of Calgary, Alberta, which is a city about 3 hours south of where I live. It has a great track record, and I know of people that have 10,000 shares of this. It pays 10 cents per share. I have 150 shares, so I'm getting $15 a month income just from that one holding. Another one that I have is Enbridge. Now it's a energy company. Ticker symbol is ENB. It is a powerhouse here in Canada. It's involved with all kinds of different things, with energy, pipelines, oil and gas. It only pays 5.54%, but it is almost rock solid. So, and the funny thing is, I own the stock itself, but I also own index funds or ETFs that hold it as well. So I'm getting double or triple exposure. Another one that I purchased, it doesn't cost that much. I think it's $6 a share is all it is. but it's Rogers Sugar. So when you go to your local grocery store and you buy a bag of sugar in the white bag with the red lettering, Rogers Sugar. Ticker symbol is RSI. Now Enbridge and Rogers pay quarterly dividends, where everything else I have pays monthly. Rogers Sugar is 5.64%. And what I like about Rogers Sugar is not only am I getting exposure to sugar, but now I am also getting exposure to the maple syrup sector because they purchased a company just out of Tabor, Alberta. I don't recall the name, but this company produces maple syrup, and maple syrup is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and I've wanted to get exposure to that before, and everything was none of the companies involved were publicly traded, and now I see that since Rogers owns it, I'm getting a cut of that as well. So Rogers Sugar, so that is a hold that I am going to keep forever. Now a couple here that I just discovered and have just purchased. One is Hamilton Multi-Sector Covered Call ETF, and ticker symbol is HDIV, and the yield is 10.53%. Now these have multiple sectors, so they have maybe 100 different products or holdings, everything from Suncor Energy to TELUS to banks. So there's financials, there's technology, there's energy, oil and gas, all these different sectors in this fund. And another one here is Hamilton US Covered Call ETF, HYLD. It pays 11.96% yield, and it is gives me exposure to the United States, so I'm getting exposure to that. Some of these other properties and whatnot give me exposure to Europe as well. I have exposure in Spain and in other European countries. So that's just a small sampling. I believe I right now I have 14 holdings, down from 20. I might eventually go back up to 20. I have some other ETFs I'm looking at. I like the ETFs now. Many years ago, I was opposed to ETFs because I just didn't understand them, and I bought gold and silver, physical gold and physical silver, and I still have some of that. But for instance, I purchased gold coins for $1,500, and now they're worth $4,000. But I'm not going to sell them because if I sell them, yeah, I have $4,000, but I don't have the gold anymore. The gold is a gold coins. Gold bullion is something that you want to hold and keep forever. It's generational wealth. It can be passed down. A gold coin, once you've pretty well all the gold in the world that has ever been mined is still in existence. You can't destroy it. It doesn't destroy. You can melt it down. You can bury it in the ground. It doesn't tarnish. Silver as well is a great product. It's an industrial metal as well as a precious metal. But I'm not investing in silver or gold right now. I may continue to buy some silver here and there. I think they're like $40, whatever, $45 per ounce for a Canadian maple silver dollar. Gold coins, they say, are over $4,000 now, including with the premium. So I'm not in a position to buy too many of those. I do regret selling some of the ones that I had, but it is what it is. But what I do need income. So I am going to continue taking some of my money that I earned from my warehouse job and money that I get from any donations now that I can get, here and there from you folks with your super likes and your maybe buy me a coffee. I'll put a portion of that into this as well. I need to recoup and regain what I lost by being unemployed or by working these courier jobs and that didn't pay much money, that I actually probably spent more or as much in fuel and repairs and whatnot, oil changes that should take, 5,000 or 6,000 kilometers before you need an oil change. I was getting oil changes more often because of wear and tear. So folks, leave a comment. Do you invest at all? Am I doing something wrong? Do you have any recommendations? Please let me know in the comments. I do value your comments and I do value your advice. Should I just do something different? Do you have any stocks that you, or ticker symbols or stocks or REITs, ETFs that have US exposure, or perhaps even exposure to Europe or Asia? I'm looking at all kinds of things. Some of these I can use with my Questrade account. I'm doing some more research to learn more about that as well. I want to stay with Canadian holdings in my Wealth Simple account, but in my Questrade I could probably use, there's a tools involved with that you can invest in the US market. So anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed this little chat, and once again, let me know how you folks handling retirement. I know a lot of my viewers are retired, and hopefully you're doing financially okay. So my friends, I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and God bless.